One question I've been seeing quite often online and in communities I'm part of is whether n8n is still relevant for automation or whether people should just switch to Claude Code. In this video, I will try to answer that question based on my own experience and what I see others doing as well. I help lots of low-code, no-code, and AI-assisted builders solve architecture challenges and implement production-level automations and systems. And this question usually comes up when someone is trying to decide which platform to use for their own project or for a system that they are building for a client. And the honest answer is it depends. Budget, timeline, technical knowledge of the person building, system complexity, and maintenance requirements all matter when you're making that decision. But let me give you my conclusion early. n8n is still very relevant in my opinion. Claude Code does not simply replace it. In fact, I think asking whether Claude Code will replace n8n is slightly misleading because they solve different parts of the problem. So by the end of this video, you should have a much clearer understanding of when to use n8n, when to use Claude, and when combining both is probably the best architecture. The easiest way to understand the difference is this. n8n is primarily a workflow automation and orchestration platform. It listens for events, connects different systems, moves data between them, and controls what should happen next. Claude Code is an AI coding assistant that works inside your development environment. You can explore a code base, edit files, run commands, test code, debug problems, and connect to external tools. So yes, they overlap in some areas. You can write code inside n8n actually, and Claude Code can help you create automations too. But they approach the problem from two very different directions. Let me explain you what I mean. Imagine someone submits a contact form on your website. You want to validate the information, check whether the person already exists in your CRM, classify that opportunity, assign it to the right person, send a notification, and schedule a follow-up. That's mainly an orchestration problem, right? You already have several systems in place. You just need something to coordinate them. That's where n8n makes a lot of sense. Now imagine you are building a customer portal. The portal needs user accounts, different permission levels, dashboards, billing, a database, and complex business rule. That's not simply an automation anymore. That's a software product. Claude Code can help you build that software much faster, but you still need to make decisions about the architecture, database, hosting, environment, security, testing, deployment, and monitoring. That distinction, meaning process versus product, is one of the most important things to understand. I would choose n8n when the main challenge is connecting applications and coordinating a predictable business process. For example, when information needs to move between a website, CRM, email platform, Slack, calendar, etc., that's a perfect use case for n8n. n8n is also available when speed of implementation matters. You can often build and test an integration in n8n much faster than creating an entire custom backend for it. Another advantage is visibility. With a properly organized workflow, you can see the process, inspect the data going through each step, and identify where something failed. That can be valuable when the system will be managed by an operations team or by someone who is not a developer. But visual does not automatically mean simple. A badly designed n8n workflow can become a giant web of nodes that nobody wants to touch. I have seen workflows where almost everything happens inside one canvas. Logic repeated, nodes are not named properly, and nobody knows what will break if they change something. And that's not really an n8n problem, that's an architectural problem. It's the way you organize your workflow to make it in a way that people can visually see that workflow and understand how data flow from the beginning to the end. A production level n8n system still needs smaller sub-workflows, clear naming, reusable components, that's very important, logging, retry rules, another important thing, duplicate prevention, and a path for manual review when the automation cannot safely continue. The platform may be low code, but architecture still matters. Doesn't matter if you're building on n8n, you still have to apply the right architecture so your system becomes production ready. Claude Code becomes more valuable when you need deeper technical control. This could include complex calculations, large data transformations, advanced authentication, custom permission system, multi-tenant applications, or business logic that needs extensive automated testing. It's also usually the better direction when you are building a product rather than automating an internal process. If you are creating a SaaS application that will support many customers and continuously receive new features, you will probably need a proper application code base. Claude Code can significantly accelerate that work. You can explore an existing code repository, help design new features, writing refactor code, tests, and assist with debugging. But this is where people also need to be careful. Claude Code makes it easier to produce code. It does not remove the responsibility of understanding and maintaining that code. You still need to know where the application will run, how jobs will be processed, how failures will be retried, how secrets will be protected, and how you will know when something stops working. AI-assisted coding can help you build faster, but without proper supervision, it can also help you create technical debt faster. Now, this is where the comparison becomes more interesting. Claude Code is not limited to building custom applications outside of n8n. You can actually use Claude Code to help build, inspect, and update n8n workflows. n8n provides an MCP, Model Context Protocol server, that can expose tools for workflow building, workflow management, and other n8n resources to Claude Code. You can also install n8n skills that give Claude more specific knowledge about how n8n workflow should be created. The simplest way to understand the difference is MCP gives Claude access to n8n. Skills give Claude better instructions for working with n8n. Those skills can guide Claude on things such as expressions, node configuration, loops, pagination, error handling, debugging, security, and sub-workflow reuse. With the correct setup and permissions, you can describe the workflow you want, and Claude will build it for you. You can also ask it to inspect an existing workflow, explain how it works, identify configuration problems, or suggest improvements. And that can save a lot of time. But I would still treat Claude Code as a capable assistant, not as an architect to follow blindly. You still need to review the workflow, test the different paths, confirm the expression, and make sure a retry cannot accidentally, for example, create duplicate records or repeat an important action. This is especially important when the workflow sends messages, process payments, for example, updates customer data, or performs any action that is difficult to reverse. In cases like this, my recommendation is once you build, you can build an MVP, the proof of concept, but before you go to production, make sure you have like a senior software engineer or AI architect to review your system, make sure that it's production ready. For many real systems, the best answer is not n8n versus Claude Code. It is n8n and Claude Code working together. Use n8n as an orchestration layer. Let it receive the triggers, connect applications, move data, wait for events, and send notifications, and keep the business process visible. Then use code for the parts that genuinely require deeper control. For example, n8n could receive a document and send it to a custom service for advanced processing. And Claude Code could help you build and maintain that custom service. Once that processing is complete, n8n could update the CRM, store the result, notify the team, and continue the rest of the workflow. At the same time, Claude Code can use MCP and n8n skills to help you create and maintain the n8n workflows themselves. So, Claude Code does not only sit outside n8n, it can help you work more effectively inside the n8n as well. So when deciding which direction to take, I would ask 4 questions. First, are you automating a process or building a product? For example, if you are connecting existing systems, start by considering n8n. If you're building a custom software product, a custom code base will probably be more appropriate. In that case, you're going to use Claude Code. Second, who will maintain it? A visual workflow may be easier for an operations team. A code base with Git and automated tests may be easier for an experienced development team. Third, how much control do you need? The more custom your security, data model, interface, and business logic becomes, the stronger the case for custom code. Use Claude Code. Fourth, what happens when it fails? How will you retry the process without creating duplicates? Where will you see the error? Who will be notified? Can someone safely review and recover that failed operations? Those questions are much more important than whether a workflow looks impressive in a demonstration. So, is n8n still relevant? Absolutely. Business still needs systems that listens for events, connect applications, move information, coordinate process reliably. Claude Code does not eliminate that need. What it does is make custom development more accessible. It helps us build the components that should not live inside n8n. It can also help us create and maintain n8n workflows through MCP and skills, as I mentioned before. In my view, Claude Code does not make n8n obsolete. It makes the boundary between visual automation and custom software more flexible. The strongest builders will not become blindly loyal to one single tool. They will understand the problem, consider who needs to maintain the system, and choose the simplest architecture that can operate reliably. Do not choose n8n only because you are afraid of writing code, and do not choose Claude Code only because custom code sounds more advanced. Choose based on the problem, the budget, the risk, the timeline, and what the system may need to become in the future. That's how you build something that continues working after the demo is over. If you are currently deciding between n8n and Claude Code, tell me in the comment below what you are building and what part of the decision has been the most difficult. I may select a few examples and break down the architecture I would use in a future video. And if you want more practical content about production level automation, AI systems, and system architecture, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.